Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
It's the monster from the swamps, Regis Rougarou Prograis.
Hey, what's up? This is King Carlos Molina, former IBF world champ.
This is Michael, the Bounty Hunter, 2012 Olympian and your people's champ.
This is Charlie Edwards, flyweight champion of the world.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 337 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host Joey Coastman. I'm joined as ever by former heavyweight world title challenger Mr. Fast Eddie Chambers. How you doing this week, Eddie?
I'm good, my man. How are you?
Always good when speaking with you, Eddie. Always good when speaking with you. Let's waste no time. Let's dive straight into the review part of the show. We're going to start here with the card that took place on Friday in Newcastle at the Newcastle Arena. This one was on Eurosport, a Probellum show. Friend of the show, Troy Williamson, now 18-0 with a draw. He was able to cling on to his British super welterweight title. He was actually down in the second round, which was a real shock. He took on, I think it was a late replacement as well in Mason Cartwright, now 17-3 with a draw. Mason Cartwright, I can't remember who Williamson was originally supposed to face, but I'm sure it wasn't Mason Cartwright. But anyway, he stepped in, he had cornrowed hair, and he looked quite cool, if you ask me. And to be honest, he boxed to a really good game plan. I wasn't scoring it, but obviously I think Cartwright had a really good start to the fight. I think he won the first round, dropped Williamson in the second round. There was a few times where he caught Williamson and Williamson looked hurt and buzzed. All in all, though, I couldn't tell you who I think won the fight. Obviously, the scorecards were quite close, but I wasn't scoring it, so I'm happy for Williamson as a friend of the show. But other than that, not too sure. Elsewhere on the card, Lewis Ritson now 23-2, a unanimous decision win over Dejan Zlaticanin, who's now 24-4. Way too small, really. Zlaticanin, I think, to be honest. He lost every round, like I say, complete shutout to Ritson. Ritson's jab was working well, and, I'm not sold on Ritson. I don't think anyone's ever going to blow through British level like Ritson did, and I think it was incredible, but I'm just not sold on him. I think there's his ceiling pretty much is European level at the very best, and the opponent kind of has to be right. We saw what happened. He went from British level to European and got beaten up by Francesco Patera. That was a real upset. And since then, he's kind of, he's moved up in weight, had a couple of decent wins, didn't he? I think he beat Robbie Davies Jr. I wasn't really expecting that to happen. But Robbie Davies Jr., I'm not too sure how good he really is. He hasn't really looked good of late. And then he had the shocking, he lost to Miguel Vasquez, didn't he? And he actually somehow won on the scorecard. So not too impressed with him. I'm not sure. It's just a bit confusing with him, really. Where's he going to go? Again, I think if he wins the European title, it would be a massive achievement, but nowhere near world level. There was talk for one time about him fighting Regis Prograis. He's kind of on the same level, really, as Tyrone McKenna, someone like that. And we saw what Prograis did to McKenna. Let's steer clear of world level for Ritson. I wouldn't mind seeing him in with Tyrone McKenna, to be honest with you. But yeah, they've got to be careful with him. 22-2. I like the guy, I really do. But it's just not. He's not. I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest with you. Thomas Patrick Ward with a win. He's now 32-0 with a draw. Still kind of fighting guys that are no threat to him, and I don't know what's going on with his career. I think he's got the most wins, the longest unbeaten streak in British boxing. I think he's overtook Tyson Fury, but hasn't boxed anywhere near world level. He got in with a guy called Alexis Kabor, who lost a shutout on all three scorecards back in the in the back end of last year at York Hall to Archie Sharp. So yeah, same thing here. Thomas Patrick Ward, as I say, I predicted it. He was going to win easily on points, and he did, 100-90. Joe Laws as well from that area. He actually lost as well, a shock loss there on points to journeyman Alexei Tutorov, who's now 5-27 with 6 draws. Joe Laws lost closely there on points, 58-57 for the journeyman. Joe Laws now 12-2. Again, his career looks in tatters. Moving out now to the Estadio Luna Park in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This one over here was on Premier Sports in the UK. The unbeaten Argentine Gustavo Daniel Lemos, 27-0. Very padded record though. Hadn't really boxed anyone of note. Doesn't always mean that they're absolute garbage. We saw him get in here with former IBF featherweight world champion Lee Selby, friend of the show. Lee Selby for the first 2 rounds was absolutely schooling Lemos, to be honest with you, making him miss wildly, popping out the jab. I didn't really rate Selby's power. Sometimes he'd let the backhand go and it didn't look like much, and Lemos wasn't bothered by it at all. And in the end, Lemos managed to invest in the body of Selby. I say in the end, it didn't last long. Selby's knocked out in the 5th round, the first time Selby's ever been stopped. So down once in the 4th round, Selby, and that was a massive round for Lemos. Not only did he knock Selby down, but he pretty much had him out on his feet. He was running around the ring after him, just battering him really, and then hitting him in the body and stuff like that. And then, like I say, round 5 early in the round as well, I think he was down and then down again, so down 3 times in total, and Selby just looked finished really, and it kind of reminded me a tiny bit about Andrew Selby when he boxed Martinez. The way he just kind of crumbled or fell apart really quickly in that part of America. So it was a bit similar to that, but I think Lee Selby now, certainly at the back end of his career, doesn't need to box for money, so I think that could be it for him. Again, he hasn't been champion, I think, for 4 years, and in that time, to be completely honest, I mean, it's been very slow, but I still think he beat George Kambosos and didn't get the decision. And then, of course, Kambosos has gone on to become, the main man at 135, So Lee Selby's only just moved up not long ago from 126. He moved up 2 weight classes. Beat Ricky Burns, hasn't really capitalised on anything, and then lost to Kambosos, where I certainly felt he won. It was an unpopular opinion, but I felt he won, and then he finds himself in Argentina. I think it was a final eliminator, so he kind of had to go there, because Selby, without a belt, doesn't really have much value, unfortunately. And a lot of the Welsh guys suffer about this. They don't, they don't all have big fan bases, because the shows are few and far between in Wales. So you pretty much need to sign with a promoter in England, where you're going to fight, on big cards over here. And Eddie Hearn, for whatever reason, doesn't sign many Welsh guys, or Frank Warren doesn't sign many Welsh guys. So yeah, Lee Selby's had his moment in the spotlight, been a world champion. There's only a few that's ever been world champion in Wales, so he's on that very short list. Great fighter at 126, but yeah, I think the age has caught up with him now, and just everything really didn't look the same fighter. Moving out now to the Führer Arslan Sports Center in Baden-Württemberg, Germany. This one, of course, promoted by Führer Arslan, and he was on the main event. He moved to 51-9 with 3 draws, a TKO in round 2 against Tony Thez, who's now 19-11 with a draw. Great win there for Führer Arslan, age 51 or 52. Also on the card, we mentioned him last week, Daniel Dietz. He weighed in at 277 pounds. He was able to knock out in just 1 round Miralem Ameti, who's now 0-3. That's what I want to see from Mr. Dietz. 277 pounds of, I'm guessing, nothing, not much muscle. I didn't see a picture of him, but I just hope he looks like a human cheeseburger. Moving out now to another part of Germany at the Westfalen Hall in Dortmund. Felix Sturm actually topped the bill over here. He is now 42-6 with 3 draws. He lost a majority decision over 12 rounds against Isfan Sili, who's now 26-2 with 2 draws. It was for the IBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. There's a thing, they call it Sturmany, where you're not going to get a decision. You're not going to get a decision in Stermany. I don't know if they say that. It's something I made up. But anyway, they did give this guy the decision, which was very shocking. Like I say, it was a close fight, and he's managed to win it there. Ice Van Silly. So good stuff for him. Elsewhere, let's go now to the duty-free tennis stadium in Dubai. This one over here, I think, was topped by Mike Perez, the Cuban, now 27-3 with a draw. He was able to beat Vasil Dukar, who's now 10-5 with a draw. He retired on his store after round 10 there, Dukar, of a scheduled 12-rounder there for the WBA Intercontinental Cruiserweight title. I didn't see it. On the undercard as well, Lemroy Thomas, former foe of Dave Allen 2 times, he was actually knocked out in round 3 against Argan Smakichi, who's now 18-1. Lemroy Thomas now 25-6 with a draw. I believe that was the card that was supposed to feature Marcos Maidana. I don't know what's gone on with that. I didn't see it or anything like that, so I don't know if he did end up fighting or not. Haven't seen any clips or anything, so I'm not sure if that went ahead or not. If anyone saw it, please let me know. I think the latest on it was that there was trouble with the opponent. There was some kind of travel issue, and I don't know. I don't think it ended up going ahead, to be honest with you. So we will put a pin in that one, and if it happens, then we shall talk about it if it gets rescheduled. Moving out now to the Victoria Warehouse in Trafford Road, Manchester, Lancashire, United Kingdom, and Al Siesta. Well, he was the matchmaker, not the promoter. It was a Pat Barrett show. Over here, just one fight to mention. Former co-host Hannah Bagley making her second pro outing. She's now 1-1. She lost on points over 4 2-minute rounds against Becky Ferguson, who's now 2-4. The sole judge, which was also the referee, Darren Sarginson, scored it 3-1 for Becky Ferguson. So that's a huge blip there for Hannah Bagley. Boxing a lady who had a losing record. She's now 1-1 as a pro. It's not a good look. What else do we have? Let's move now to the Wembley Arena in London. This one was on Sky. I watched some of this card, so let's go through it. Let's go with the undercard. Shannon Ryan made her debut. She's now 1-0, a 4-round win there on points. She won every round against Claudia Ferranti, who is now 20-90 with 8 draws. I really didn't know that they had journeywomen with that many fights. That's incredible. 118 fights as a pro. That's amazing. Anyway, moving now to other fights on the undercard. Let's go here. Joe Pigford with a win, 19-0, a TKO in round 4 against David Romero. Always expected to happen. Romero now 12-15 with a draw. Pigford now 19-0 with 18 KOs. Romero down in the first round and then once in the 4th prior to the stoppage. I want to see him stepped up though, Pigford. I don't want to keep seeing him knock all these guys out that no one's ever heard of. Moving now to another fight on the undercard. Caroline Dubois. She actually messed up my parlay/accumulator. I expected her to go the distance with Martina Horgaz, who I think only had 1 loss by stoppage. She's now 5-9. She was actually knocked out with a body shot within the first minute, I believe it was, of the first round. So Caroline Dubois now 2-0. Really quick and easy night's work there for her. Chris Congo with a win as well, now 13-1. A points win over 8 against Kelvin Dotel, who's now 14-7. Louis Green got in there with Harry Scarf for the vacant English welterweight title. Louis Green ended up losing by unanimous decision over 10, so pleased there for Harry Scarf, now 11-2. Now the new English welterweight champion, and Louis Green now 13-3. Moving up the card once again, Dan Aziz with a win. He's now 16-0. Do you know what? This is the fight that fell through, wasn't it? I talked about Mason Cartwright stepping in on late notice with Troy Williamson. No, it was Dan Aziz who had the last minute replacement, I believe. Reese Cartwright. You can't blame me there for mixing up 2 guys with the same surname. Not sure if they're related. Dan Aziz now 16-0. TKO in the 8th round against Reece Cartwright, who I believe was a late replacement. 23-3 now, Cartwright. I don't remember watching that fight, to be honest with you. There were so many fights on the weekend. I do not remember watching that one. And the main event, I saw little bits of it because it clashed with a different card. Richard Riakporhe now 14-0. He was able to knock out in the 8th round Dion Juma. Dion Juma now 14-1. Juma down in the 4th round, and then it was a body shot that stopped him in the 8th round. I did see the first knockdown. It was a really heavy knockdown from Riakporhe. But Juma, I said it before, he's been treading water for a long, long time. Hasn't had a step up. He's kind of just been there in the background, really. Hasn't been on any big, high-profile undercards or anything. He's just been really, really flying under the radar, and it's cost him, because when he's had to step up against Riakporhe, he's lost in that fashion. He wasn't really in the fight. I mean, yeah, he had a couple of rounds you could probably give to him. He had a few skills, but they were few and far between, and he just didn't have what it takes to look at any point like he'd beat Riakporhe. I think he was too small. Riakporhe's a big guy, big frame, punches hard, and Juma just looked a bit small, doesn't really hit as hard. I don't know, it just style-wise, size-wise, just wasn't really working for him. So I don't know what he does from here, because he finds himself in a very hard place. No big promoter. He's lost his own now. I don't know if there's much value left in him. He's got to be coming up to his mid-30s now. It's a shame, really, because it's probably not his fault the way his career's gone. Maybe he can come back against someone like a Luke Watkins. How about that one? Luke Watkins, that'd be nice. Or maybe, I don't want to say feed him to, but maybe him and Isaac Chamberlain, or maybe him and the loser of the rematch between Chris Billam-Smith and Tommy McCarthy. I don't know. I guess there are some fights that can be made. Whether or not they will be made, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure what kind of value Dion Juma now has. Moving out now to the First Direct Arena in Leeds, Yorkshire, United Kingdom. This one was on DAZN. Let's talk about the undercard first. Sky Nicholson with a win. I wish I heavily bet on this one, because I could see this one going the way it went all day long. Sky Nicholson to win on points. Yes, it did happen. She's now 2-0, a points win there over 6 2-minute rounds against Beck Connolly, who's now 3-12. She won every single round, Nicholson. Once again, I was one of the probably few people that stayed up till early hours of the morning to watch her debut in the States a few weeks back, and what frustrated me about her was she boxed, I think it was a Mexican girl, and she was just boxing off the back foot. She wasn't pressing the action. She wasn't coming forward. And I was thinking to myself, you've got the skills to push this girl back. You've got the skills to perhaps go for a stoppage. But she wasn't interested, really. She just wanted to box off the back foot, not get hit, and make it kind of boring, really, and kind of live up to, I guess, don't shoot me down for this, but I guess the stereotypical women's style of fighting, a little bit amateurish. But in this fight here, she decided to come forward and put the pressure on, which I didn't see her doing, to be honest with you. I didn't think she'd do that. Beck Connolly is a little bit durable, a little bit, and I just thought, based off of Sky Nicholson, if she's going to box off the back foot and stuff like that, she's not going to stop Beck Connolly. But do you know what? At times, I think it was probably a few punches away. Beck Connolly, I mean, I hate to say it, I really like her. I think she's like in the army or something. I think she's a single mother of 2 daughters or something, and she's been in the army or whatever. It's a cool story she's got. I hope I'm not telling any accidental fibs there. I think they are all that is all true. But yeah, she's a mother, and I really like her. I've seen a couple of interviews. She's really funny and bubbly and stuff like that. Doesn't take herself too seriously. Problem is, boxing is a serious sport, and I hate to say this, but I think that if I was involved and I was part of the British Boxing Board of Control, I'd probably have a look at maybe taking a license, to be honest with you, because she's very slow. She punches really slow, and her defense is pretty much non-existent. She just takes punches in the face, and she takes them really, really bad. I mean, she's obviously got a little bit of a chin because she doesn't get stopped every time, but she gets hit and it looks horrible, and she kind of reacts slow to it, and I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like a full-grown woman beating up like a 14-year-old girl or something when I see her fighting. And I mean no disrespect by that. Obviously, I really like her. I care about her as a fighter, but I don't like what I'm seeing. She's taking a pasting, all the time, and it's not good for her health, and it's bad. So I don't want to see too much more of that, to be honest with you. She's got nothing to prove. She's not going to get anywhere with her career. I don't want to see her being bashed up by every young female that turns over. Elsewhere on the card, Dalton Smith now 10-0, a TKO in the 10th and final round against Ray Moylett, who's now 12-2. It was for the vacant WBC International Silver Super Lightweight title. Dalton Smith had 2 points deducted for a low blow in round 7. Moylett down twice in that final round, and the corner threw the towel in the corner, of course. Packy Collins threw it in. Scary fight, really scary fight from my point of view, because I had quite a large bet on Dalton Smith to win. It was like the last leg of my parlay, and of course when the referee took 2 points away for a deduction for a low blow, and then said if you do that again you get him thrown out, and then he did it again, and I thought, oh my God, am I about to lose this bet purely because he's going to get disqualified? Then the referee didn't take a point that time, and I don't think he should have anyway, because it looked to me like it was on the belt line, but thankfully he didn't take a point. But I'm going to be a little bit critical of Dalton Smith. I think his defence is a little bit leaky. Obviously he was way too good for Moylett, but I just felt on the offence he's fantastic, but I don't think everyone, I'm sure you know this as well, Eddie. You see a fighter coming through, fantastic offense. I guess casual fans wouldn't really notice the deficiencies in their defense. And for me, I felt his defense was a bit leaky. I didn't think he moved his head much. I felt he needed to brush up on those two things. And I didn't like when he switched to southpaw momentarily. I also felt he looked a little bit stiff at times. But no, he does, offensively, have an unbelievable punch selection, unbelievable shot placement and power in both hands. And he's got good movement, good footwork. But yeah, I was really worried when he had those points deducted, because I think, honestly, if Moylett would have stayed down, he could have probably got him disqualified. But the referee didn't want to do it, and he was harsh with his telling off. But yeah, it was the first one when he hit him with this low blow and he had the 2 points took off. Dalton Smith kind of hit Moylett low, and it was very clearly low, straight in the jingle bells, and he followed up with a left hook as well upstairs, which connected quite good. I thought that Moylett was gonna make a proper meal and stay down and try and get him DQ'd, but yeah, the ref kind of weren't having none of it. But I don't know what he could really do if he didn't want to get back up, and he took his 5 minutes and still couldn't carry on. But the referee took the 2 points, as I said, and he sternly warned Dalton, said if you do it again you're getting disqualified. And when he did it again and Moylett went down again, I honestly, the referee kind of put himself in a tough spot because of what he said. And the replay, as I say, showed it was on the belt line, but it was scary because I thought he was going to get disqualified. They gave him a final warning again, no points deducted on that second one, and Smith from that point pretty much had to box and move and just headhunt, went on the front foot, and he was scared to really throw a body shot, and rightly so. And he managed to put Moylett down, like I say, twice in that last round, and the towel come in. Moylett initially was screaming at Packy Collins in the corner, but I think Packy Collins was probably right to stop the fight. That's it for that one. Moving up the card once again, Ebony Bridges now 8-1. She's now the new IBF World Female Bantamweight Champion over 10 2-minute rounds there against Maria Roman, who's now 16-6 with a draw. Not a fantastic fighter, Roman. Bit of a gimme, really, in terms of a route to win a world title for Bridges. Roman had never been stopped. She still hasn't been stopped. I did not see any of this fight at all, so I've got no idea what happened. Remember, Ebony Bridge blocked me on Twitter, so I don't like her too much myself. In other news, Maxie Hughes with a win. He's now 25-5 with 2 draws, a unanimous decision there over 12 rounds against Ryan Walsh, who's now 27-4 with 2 draws. It was for the IBO World Lightweight title. Maxi Hughes once again on this unbelievable run. If this fight would have took place maybe 3-4 years ago, you'd have to say that Ryan Walsh should be a monster favourite in the fight. But I think Ryan Walsh, as I said on last week's show, coming to the end of his career, it was kind of a must-win for him, really, and he didn't win. And I think that Maxi Hughes boxed out of his skin again. On one card, he actually won by shutout. So, yeah, Maxi Hughes, he just seems unbeatable at the minute, obviously to a certain level, but a great selection of opponent. I'm not sure who made this fight, who the matchmaker was, but it's a great look there for Maxi Hughes. I mean, unbelievable how much he's improved. And I believe he's training under Josh Warrington's dad, which is quite cool. And speaking of the man, let's get up to the main event. Kiko Martinez now 43-11 with 2 draws. He was TKO'd in round 7 against Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington now reclaims his IBF World Featherweight title. He's a 2-time champion of the world. Martinez cut over both eyes and on his forehead down in round 1, and Warrington, I believe, ended up getting a broken jaw and a broken hand. It was a head clash in round 1 that I think caused the cut for Martinez on one eye. They clash heads and Martinez turned away and the referee said box on, but seconds later, like he turned away and winced, kind of like, whoa, like he wanted the referee to intervene, but the referee just said box on. Seconds later, Martinez is covered in blood, so obviously it was the head clash that caused that. And in the heat of the moment, Warrington starts putting it on Martinez, and Martinez was a bit kind of buzzed with the head clash and the blood and stuff, so he put it on him and dropped him. Martinez obviously got back up, and I actually felt that he hurt Warrington with a jab just as the bell went for the first round. But yeah, again, eventually Warrington wore Martinez down. He got the stoppage, so credit to Warrington. Still was kind of hard to know what he's got left. I think they should keep him away from certain guys that can punch. But yeah, I mean, it's him and Lee Wood. I think that's the fight to make, really, in Britain. That's the fight I think we should see. And you'd have to favour him over Lee Wood, even though Lee Wood's looking great and looking very powerful. I think I'd probably favour Warrington to beat Lee Wood. But it'd be a great fight, and the crowds would turn up for it. So that's a great fight next for both guys. As for Kiko Martinez, that's probably the end of the road for him. He done amazing to become world champion again at his age, but let's face it, it's not going to happen again for him. Not sure where Kid Galahad finds himself in the mix. Will he get the rematch with Warrington? I very much doubt it. Okay, so that's it for that one. Moving now to this one here. It took place at the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota. What happened on this card here? Let me remind myself. It was on Showtime. On the undercard, Michelle Rivera with a win now, 23-0, a unanimous decision over 10 rounds against Joseph Adorno, now 14-1 with with 2 draws, so he loses his O. Elvis Rodriguez with a win as well. He's now 13-1 with a draw. He was able to KO in round 7 Juan Velasco, who's a little tiny bit of a gatekeeper-ish kind of level. I think he's now 23-3. Joey Spencer with a win as well, now 15-0, a unanimous decision over 8 against Ravshan Hudey Nazarov, who's now 19-5. The main event, Tim Tszyu now 21-0, a unanimous decision over 12 rounds against Terrell Gausha. Even though Tim Tszyu himself was down in round 1, it was for the WBO Global Super Welterweight title. Gausha, as I said, he didn't surprise me. I don't think he's a bad fighter. But I said it, and I kind of stand by it even more now. He turned pro and instantly became a gatekeeper. He wasn't good enough to be a world champion, but he was good enough to give fighters on the come-up big, hard tests. And he had Tszyu down. To be honest, that was his only moment in the fight, really. You maybe could have gave him 1 or 2 other rounds during the course of the 12, but no, I mean, wide in the end on the cards. In fact, not every card now looking at it, but Tim Tszyu really was in total control. I think he even, had more gears to go through, and he's very grounded, Tim Tszyu. I believe after the fight, they said, what do you think you should work on, or what do you think you need to work on? And apparently he replied everything. So I like that answer. And he knows, that was his US debut. I'm sure there's going to be more action over there in America in the near future, but for now he's just getting wet, and he is still learning. Obviously 21-0, and I think he is going to be something for the future, as I've said many times. Coming down to the final two cards, we're going to whiz through this one here because we're going to be speaking to the man in a moment, but let's talk about the undercard. This one, by the way, took place at the Resorts World Las Vegas in Nevada, USA. It was on Sky Sports. It was on, I'm guessing, ESPN+. Josu Vargas, now 20-2. I'm not sure what happened in this fight, but I heard he got dropped a couple of times. He was able to win, and a lot of people weren't too pleased about it, if I'm not mistaken. He was able to win a unanimous decision over 8 rounds against Nicolas DeMario, who's now 15-6 with 3 draws. Vargas now 20-2. And the main event, Miguel Berchelt, now 38-3. He ended up being pulled out in the corner after 6 rounds against Jeremiah Nakathila, the Namibian policeman and pub owner. We'll be speaking to him in just a few moments from now. He's now 23-2. Excellent that he, has come back in this way. He lost to Shakur Stevenson. He didn't even win a round in that fight against Stevenson last year, the early part of last year. And then he goes back to Namibia, picks up a win against absolutely no one, comes back to Las Vegas. He's there again, and this time was able to knock out Berchelt. Even though Berchelt was coming off that brutal knockout loss to Oscar Valdez, Berchelt was thinking in his mind, I'm going to come back here, knock out this guy here, who didn't look very good against Shakur Stevenson, but Stevenson didn't put him away. I'm gonna do it. I've got the power that Shakur doesn't have, and when I knock this guy out, it's gonna send a statement up the division, and it's gonna put me in a good position. But it wasn't to be. The whole plan got wrecked. Berchelt down in the 3rd round, and like I say, it was a really good fight. There was one round in there, I can't remember which round it was now. It was like round of the year, man. They were both pinging each other. Berchelt hit Nakathila with some massive shots as well. Nakathila at times looked a little bit wobbly, a bit kind of buzzed with shots, and Berchelt took so many shots. I mean, I thought, just like a lot of others, that perhaps the chin just wasn't there anymore. No, man, he's got a rock solid chin. He took so many big shots, but of course couldn't take them all night. I'm going to put a pin in that one. We're going to get Nakathila on in a few moments. And the final card took place early this week. It took place on Tuesday, the 29th of March, which of course is the birthday of Mr. Fast Eddie, who I believe turned 27 just a couple of days ago. So happy birthday to you once again, Eddie. As I said on the day, happy birthday, and I say it again now. 27 years of age, man. You're getting old.
I know, man. It's getting crazy. I gotta stop aging somehow.
Fast Eddie, but he ages slow. But like I said, this one took place on the 29th of March on Tuesday in Thailand at the City Hall ground. It's the final fight to mention. I wish I had some good news for this fight, but unfortunately it's bad news. Panya Pradabsri, he's now 38-1. He was able to beat once again Chayaphon Moonsri, who managed to get to 53 or 54-0 before losing to Pradabsri, and I thought that Moonsri could hopefully beat him, and then I would petition that he could go back in time and rub off the loss, and he'd be about 57-0. But no, he loses again, so he's 0-2 against Pradabsri, and Pradabsri has ruined what was, I think, going to be the longest unbeaten streak in boxing. I think he was going to overtake Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.'s 89-0 if he was able to carry on, but it was for the WBC World Minimum Weight title, and Pradabsri is still the champion over 12 rounds there. Unanimous decision there for Pradabsri. Chayaphon Moonsri now 55-2, and I feel very bad for him, the former greatest of all times. But that is it though for the review part of the show. The final thing for me to do is to welcome our special guest on this week's podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former Super-Featherweight world title challenger, Mr. Jeremiah Nakathila. Jeremiah, welcome back on the show, my man.
Thank you.
Hey, it's a pleasure having you back on. So, Jeremiah, we last spoke back in May last year. It was just before the Shakur Stevenson fight. Before we get on to what happened on the weekend, just tell me what you took away from the Shakur Stevenson fight, because for whatever reason, you couldn't seem to get into your rhythm.
I'm not taking any negative losing from that loss. It just for me, I just learned something, that is more positive and that is more useful from that fight. It just make me a better boxer. It just make me mentally. It just strengthen my mental when it comes to boxing.
Okay, so yeah, you got some mental strength from the Shakur Stevenson fight. That's a good thing. After the Shakur Stevenson fight, you returned back to Namibia. You picked up a win back in October, and then you're straight back to Las Vegas for the fight with Miguel Berchelt. Once again, you were the underdog, even though Berchelt was coming off that terrible knockout loss to Oscar Valdez, but you pulled off the upset in Las Vegas on the weekend. Tell me about that amazing fight, the amazing win the other night.
Yeah, we traveled to Las Vegas. I was well prepared. There's no doubt when it comes to my preparation. I was well prepared. I was like, hey, this time around, I'm not going to let it go. This is my chance, and then to prove myself that, we can win. It's one of the history for Namibia to win in Las Vegas. There was no boxer win at that level or win in Las Vegas. So, it was for me like I had this is my time, and then I'm not going to let this opportunity pass me. Whatever it's going to cost, I'm going to be there and I'm going to win. I'm going to leave Las Vegas. I'm going to polish a win, and that's what I did.
Yeah, it was an excellent win. And I think that Berchelt was probably thinking, if he comes back and maybe knocks you out and does something that Shakur Stevenson couldn't do, then that would, I guess, put him in a good position in his career. But you destroyed his plans.
Yes, I did that, because even before the fight, I saw when we were already in Las Vegas, I think I saw some updates about Miguel Berchelt talking about he's gonna beat me and he would like to fight Kambosos, and then I said, okay, he don't know what is coming for him. So I was just reading, looking at the way he comments about he's going to beat me and he's going to we want Kambosos and all these things. Yeah, that's I said I don't know what is coming for him.
Yeah, no, a lot of people didn't know what was coming. The fight itself, I was shocked how many big punches Berchelt took on his chin. Some people thought that maybe he didn't have a good chin anymore because he got knocked out by Valdez, that maybe he couldn't take a big punch. But you hit him with so many big punches, and I was very surprised that he stayed on his feet. Were you surprised at how good his chin was in the fight?
Yeah, no, I give him credit on, taking some of the big shots, clean, but, he takes them well. So I think he's having a good chin, and I myself, I could feel that I was hitting him. And then I knew at one point he's going either way. The body is going to, it's going to, if you get hit, although you get a strong chin or you are strong, it's just a matter of time. The body, the energy is going out. I knew that fight was not going to reach 10 rounds. Whether the referee stop or himself, I was going to damage him badly. Then that fight, I could even give him a bad knockout. But, I give him credit. He's a strong boxer. He can take shots. He can take, he take a lot of big punch, And I give him credit for that. I was also a bit surprised, like, oh, this guy, I think he can take a punch. Because I accept him, I expect him to shake so easy when I hit him, but he was there. He was taking the punch.
Yeah, he took a lot of big punches. Obviously, he couldn't take them all night long. At times in the fight, Jeremiah, you were happy to stand and trade punches with Berchelt. I don't think I've ever seen anyone stand and trade punches with Berchelt. Even if he's coming off a loss to Valdez, he still has knockout power. He hit you with some big shots as well. How powerful can he punch, and were you hurt at any point in the fight?
Yeah, he is strong. He throws some, he tried also his level best. He caught me some with few of the punch. He's strong. I could feel his power, and I know. But I smile at his power because for me, I know I'm stronger than any of the lightweights or junior lights, So even if we have to trade, exchange with him, I'm gonna hate him more. Then I know he's having a high knockout ratio, but coming to power, I already said to myself, he can't be stronger than me. But he's a good guy. He's a good boxer. Where he tried, I could feel that, he can knock someone.
Yeah. And a lot of people now think that he should retire, Jeremiah. Do you think he should retire?
Make no mistake, give Berchelt a different boxer, it'd be a different outcome. So they might write it. They shouldn't write him off because he still got it. I don't see if a lot of someone still, if most of the guys they can beat Berchelt. So people might think maybe because I was beating him that way, he's an easy guy, or maybe he's done. But make no mistake, he might still got it.
Yeah, and again, some people won't know this, but obviously your nickname is Low Key. I remember when we did an interview the first time round, I said to you, you never really post any footage, any videos of you training, of you sparring. There's not much footage on YouTube of your fights. It's very hard to find video of you. But now, those two fights, obviously in Vegas, I think now you're no longer low key, now you're high key.
Yeah, even after that fight, people, even some of the media, I think now you are high key because yes, you got it. And we just feel like maybe now you are high key. Yeah, I smile at it, and for sure I remain low key, and just low key, just to express how I am, my lifestyle. I can be on top there, but I can still. I'm just a low-key guy. Just keep it low life, and just to make happy, my people, my friends, and I can socialize with my friends. I can't be that guy because maybe I'm now on top. I cannot socialize with my people or so. But no, I just keep it low-key. That's me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously this fight against Berchelt was at lightweight. You both moved up in weight for this fight. And the reason it was at lightweight was because, it was supposed to be an advantage for Berchelt, really. But how did you feel in the ring on the night? You look really strong.
Yeah, I feel much stronger at lightweight. And I'm going to remain at the lightweight division.
Ah, okay.
So... yeah, I feel like I couldn't suffer to take off much weight at lightweight compared to junior light. Junior light, I can still do it. I can still make it, but I feel I can make it. I make lightweight easier, and I have more power at lightweight.
Yeah, okay. Now that's maybe a good decision because you were very big for 130 and you're still big for 135. So maybe that's going to be healthier for you. Jeremiah, what do you want to do next? Is there any fights out there that attract you most at lightweight or?
Yeah, for sure. I would like to fight, guys at the lightweight, especially these guys with a belt. I call them boys. I want those boys with all the belts. I want them. Kambosos, you mentioned all the names, Haney, all these guys with the belts. I want them, and I'm ready, to beat them. I will not fear any of the lightweights. And for me, sometimes people talk about, no, you are going to Las Vegas. Are you not scared? Are you not of the crowd and so on? For me, this crowd doesn't really matter. All I know, all I like is to have a crowd. When I'm going to fight, if there's a crowd, it doesn't matter for who. For me, just to entertain the people, and then I know if it's maybe you will carry more fans there, I'm going to disappoint them. I like to disappoint fans. Like, okay, they come to see me losing, but at the end of the day, it will be the opposite.
Okay, there we go. And my final question for you, Jeremiah. April 30th, Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez. Who wins that fight in your opinion? How do you see it going?
Yeah, in my opinion, Shakur will take it. I think Shakur will take it. Shakur is a far better boxer compared to Valdez. Valdez got a heart, but Shakur got more skill and he's more effective. I trust in Oscar's power, punching power, and the heart, but Shakur, I think Shakur is a far better skillful that he can do make more adjustments to beat Valdez.
Okay, so you think Stevenson will win? Yeah, I think a lot of people agree. If you've got any closing message before we finish the interview, if you have any closing message for anyone listening to this anywhere in the world, what is your final message before we finish the interview?
Yeah, to the boxing world, I just want to say, when it comes to junior light, they should not forget to mention Jeremiah Nakathila. And I'm coming for everything. I feel this is my time to shine. And, I just enjoy, working with Top Rank. It's a good promotion. And, I'm very thankful for them to grant me opportunity to fight at those levels. So, yeah, looking forward to work more with them. And also to my promoter, I'm happy. For my promoter, Mr. Nesta Tobias, for all what he has done and what he's doing for me. Yeah, so the sky's the limit for me. I'm looking forward, to be, a world champion, this year or next year. So any opportunity that I get, I'm going to utilize it.
There we go. He's ready to utilise the opportunities coming off the best win of his career. That is, of course, Mr. Jeremiah Nakathila, a.k.a. the Namibian policeman and pub owner. Listen, Jeremiah, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you again. Congrats again on your win, and we will speak soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now it's time for part 2 on this week's show. This part, of course, usually the news part of the show. I'm used to just rolling straight into it. However, this week, as of yet, no real news at all to mention. So if anything happens, if any news breaks from now to the end of the show, I will speak about it on the outro. So let's dive straight into the preview part of the show. We're going to start here with a card that takes place tomorrow. I'm going all Spanish with this pronunciation. Sit back. I'm going to give you a 5-second warning, listeners. Sit back. Put your feet up somewhere. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one takes place at the Palau Olympic Bal de Hebron, Barcelona, Catalunya, Spain. I kind of just went Spain back to my normal voice, but I can do it. I can make the rules. It's on DAZN. Nothing really to mention on the undercard. In fact, there is a weird fight on the undercard. This is a bit of me. A guy called Froj Sepp. Yes, Froj. I don't know how that's pronounced, but I'm going to say Froj. It's Hrvoje, surname Sepp, S-E-P. He's 11-0 in an 8-rounder against Ricards Bolotniks, 18-6 with a draw. Been in there with Joshua Boatsi, obviously beat Jose Burton in Latvia, the Latvian fighter, so he's in an 8-rounder in Spain, very random. Elsewhere on the card, Jorgelina Guanini, who is 9-4 with 2 draws in an 8 2-minute round contest against Stevie Levi, who's 5-0. That's a girl who I think is managed or trained by Dave Allen. And the main event, Sandor Martin, 39-2, coming off that excellent win last time out against Mikey Garcia. He gets in with Jose Felix, who's also got 39 wins, but he has 5 losses and 1 draw. It's for the vacant WBA International Super Lightweight title. And the final card to mention takes place on Saturday night. It's quite a good card. It's on Sky. It's a boxer show at the Newcastle Arena, so there's more action back there, 2 weeks running. On the undercard, Zach Chelli, 10-1 with a draw, gets in with the undefeated 8-0 Diego Costa. That's over 6 rounds there. We've got Bradley Ray as well, obviously friend of the show. Really cool guy, Bradley Ray, 12-0, coming off of that first round knockout just about 6 weeks ago over Craig McCarthy. He gets in with Lucas Ndufaluma, who is from Namibia, so I'm a little bit torn on who I want to win, because we just spoke to Jeremiah Nakathila. No, of course, I'm going with Bradley Ray. But yeah, this guy here boasts a record of 20-4. Only been stopped once, and it was in his last fight back in December of last year. But yeah, other than that, no standout names on the record. I think I know what's going to happen there. Hopefully, Bradley the Stingray gets another good knockout on his record. It was supposed to take place, but it's fallen through. Nathan Gorman was supposed to be getting in there with Scott Alexander from Los Angeles, California. A bit of a weird fight, but yeah, that fight's not happening. I believe Gorman has got the flu or maybe coronavirus, something. Florian Marku, this is a really good fight. Florian Marku, 10-0 with a draw, taking on Chris Jenkins. I mean, it really feels like we're going full Namibian, because Chris Jenkins in his last fight beat Julius Indongo, of course, and that one was only about 2 months ago. He beat him on points over 8, so he gets in here against Florian Marku for the IBF International Welterweight title. That's over 10, so that could be interesting there. Boxing skill wise, you'd have to say Chris Jenkins could win, but Marku does hit hard. I think Marku will probably have the edge in size, and obviously it's over 10 rounds. Jenkins usually cuts really bad. I don't know, that's going to be a really good fight, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. And the main event, the final fight to mention, Savannah Marshall, 11-0, defending her WBO World Female Middleweight title. Peter Fury, the trainer, in the corner. She gets in with Femke Hermans, who has a record of 12-3. It's over 10 2-minute rounds. Femke Hermans really simply just brought in because she went the distance and lost to Clarissa Shields. It was a complete shutout in that fight there, so she, I think, wants to do one better, Savannah Marshall, and not just shut her out over 10 rounds, but stop her at some point during the contest. She's never been stopped, so all the best there to Savannah Marshall, and then hopefully we get the big all-ladies showdown between Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. But that is it though for the preview part of the show. There was a lot to review. Then of course we welcomed our special guest, former world title challenger, the Namibian policeman and pub owner, Mr. Jeremiah Nakathila. In part 2 there has been no news just yet. If anything happens, it's going to be talked about on the outro, and I've just wrapped up the preview part of the show just there. The final thing that I'm going to have to do is come in with the outro, which I'll do in just a few seconds. Okay, and this wraps up episode 337 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Eddie Chambers has been with me for the duration of the show. A huge thank you to our special guest, the former Super-Featherweight world title challenger, the Namibian policeman and pub owner, Mr. Jeremiah Nakathila. It's important that you mention all 3 of his job roles at once when you speak about the man from Namibia. But yeah, like I say, the biggest thanks, as always, goes out to you, the listeners. Thanks once again for tuning in. There's been no news at all to mention, so that pretty much is everything from me. Enjoy your weekends, people. Stay safe, and we shall see you all again next week.